my second elevator speech for EDEX 435, and we're just going to jump right in. And so this module started off with a TED Talk from Dr. Ablon, and it was so informative. We didn't even have to listen to the whole thing, I guess, but I did while I was driving because it was so good. So basically what Dr. Ablon was saying is that we think that students with behavioral issues, disabilities, all that kind of stuff would behave or would learn like they're supposed to if they want to. But really it's the fact that they can't. And something else that he did is he made a comparison between EBD and learning disabilities, LD. And he said that for people with learning disabilities, we're not angry at them because they can't learn, because we know that they can't unless we provide them the supports that they need. But then when individuals have an EBD, we get angry because they don't behave the way they're supposed to, even if we know they're diagnosed with that. And we get really frustrated with them because we're like, oh, they would behave if they wanted to. No, children want to succeed. Children don't want to not succeed. If they could, if they had the supports, if they were neurotypical, they would, but they don't have the supports. And so we need to treat them just like we treat individuals with LD. Something else that we need to do is to explicitly teach social skills to these individuals so that they have the support so that they can succeed. Social skills are explicit behaviors a student demonstrates in order to perform appropriately on a given task. So the way to teach them these social skills is to first identify their deficits, and then encourage and implement different stages of learning based on those deficits. And so it really, just like any other intervention, is super duper individualized. We have to know the student, we have to know their needs, we have to accommodate their needs, we have to meet them at their level. So then this goes into the stages of learning, and there's 5 of them. The first is acquisition, and that is developing the skill. And it is made up of a lot of mimicking and reteaching. So then the second stage of learning, which these each build upon each other, is fluency. So this is when the student is able to practice the skill and they are making progress, but they're not perfect per se. Building upon fluency is step 3, maintenance. Maintenance is when they can fluently complete the task in a single setting repetitively. Building upon that is 4, generalization. This is when they are now using the skill among several settings and adapting based on that situation. And then finally, adaptation is complete mastery. They can use it anywhere, anytime. They can adapt it for different situations, pick it apart, all that good stuff. So then this goes into the rationale of teaching social skills. And according to the PBIS world, we have to teach social skills for very specific reasons. They increase instructional time. They improve student interactions with people of all age and ability levels. They increase their productivity. It helps students improve their daily social functioning among all settings. It helps them make friends. It helps teach them essential life skills that they're going to carry with them forever. It helps them to fit in. Not that we necessarily want people to fit in and shove them into a mold, but it does help them to adapt and understand what's socially appropriate. It helps them to perform better in their classes, socially and academically. It helps students to follow rules, expectations, and procedures. It increases their self-esteem, their self-confidence, and their self-concept, and it gives students a common language among one another. And so, how do we assess this? So first we have to observe and collect data. We have to do so among a variety of contexts and among a variety of interactions. And that goes back to over here where we're identifying the deficits, and then we're encouraging and implementing stages of learning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on these deficits. So when you're planning the instruction, there's this arrow thing that we can follow. And so first you have to tell them what you're doing. You have to coach them through it. Then you move on to showing them how to do it, modeling, thinking out loud. The next step building upon that is doing. So like you're role playing with them where you're still there to come alongside, you're the more knowledgeable other, you're accompanying them, but they're not completely independent yet. Next, they get to practice and rehearse it. You're still there, you're in their corner, but you're less involved. Finally, you get to implement it and you're monitoring their progress, and then eventually they have it mastered. And so some really good ways that we can apply this is through peer-mediated social stories, role-playing, video modeling, and involving families, because the family part is so important, because it doesn't matter what you're doing at school. If you're drilling things at school, you've got these certain procedures at school, if when they go home it's not being enforced. And then finally, student motivation is so important to all parts of education, but especially this, teaching social skills, implementing social skills. Is it intrinsic or is it extrinsic? We want to make it intrinsic. We want them to be the reason they want to learn. We want them to desire to learn. So ways that we can make it intrinsic include appealing to their interests, allowing students to have a choice, teaching them how to attribute success and failure, and helping them develop an academic mindset, a mindset of, I want to do this for myself, not for the grade, not for the treasure box, not so I don't get in trouble, that kind of thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I can't wait to watch all of yours.